Right, let's come to the seminar now. You've got few questions in the seminar, okay? And as you see here, question number 1 is talking about recording transactions. Then you need to balance of the transaction and prepare trial balance. This we did in week 2, but student asked me to write another one, which is for you to practice. Question number 1, question number 2, it's for you to practice these the same questions but different numbers. We covered them in the last seminar. Okay, now today we will cover question number 3 and question number 4. Okay, so let's focus on question number 3 then. Okay, so question number 3, the following information relates to Boots Limited as 30th of September 2020. So you've got a lot of accounts here, and at the end the question asks you to calculate the statement of profit or loss for the year ended 30th of September 2020. Okay, so now think about it. Now when you prepare a statement of profit or loss, right, so you need to include only the items which are related to statement of profit or loss, because as I did mention, if you remember, there are some items which you don't need to include. Maybe they are related to statement of financial position. So hopefully most of the items here which you need to use are related to statement of profit or loss. Okay, so if you remember that you need to start do the workings first. Once you've done the workings, then you need to prepare the statement. Just makes your life easier to do the workings first. So when you look at this question, we need to start with working 1, which is the cost of sales, and then move to working 2, which is the expenses, which you need to list all the expenses available in the question. So when it comes to cash sales, let's analyze the items. Cash sales, that's cash sales. If you look here, you will see also credit sales. Yeah, can you see? So cash sales and credit sales, so you need to add them up and make it as a sales revenue. Yeah, because in accounting we recognize the sales even it's on a credit, even if the business hasn't received the money yet, we recognize it. So we realize it. So 90,000 plus 125, so that's 215,000. 215,000, the total sales revenue. We have here interest payable. So interest payable, we include this as interest, that's we included at the bottom of the statement. We have purchases here we need to include in order to calculate cost of sales. We have rent, type of expenses, and it does include in the expenses. Salary is the same in the expenses. Inventory at 30th of September 2020, it's on the cost of sales, which the formula you need to use in order to calculate cost of sales. This is a closing inventory, 30th of September 2020. We have also heating and lighting. Again, that's type of expense. Same with water, it's type of expense. Depreciation of fixed assets. I appreciate that you haven't done depreciation, but so far you need to know that depreciation is type of expense, so we'll explain it, but at the moment just it's classified as an expense. We have also interest receivables, so the business receives some interest, so again that's other income, classified as other income. We have inventory at 1st of October 2019. This is the beginning of the financial year for this business, and this is opening inventory. And the question asks you to prepare a statement of profit or loss, as you see. So now when it comes to statement of profit or loss, as I mentioned, you need to start preparing the workings there, right? Let's start with the first working here. Okay, if you look at the cost of sales, you see that we need to find the formula, which is opening inventory plus purchases minus closing inventory. So it's nothing really challenging here, just you need to copy paste the numbers from the statement, from the trial balance, which is opening inventory 9,000. It's on the question. If you go back, you see here it's 9,000. Yeah, opening plus purchases 70,000. Again in the question, purchases of inventory, if you see here, yeah, and minus closing inventory, which is here. Can you see closing inventory? This one. So very simple. So this plus this minus this, that's minus, minus, less, minus. So put it in the bracket if you want. Let's put it in the bracket. So this is 64,000. So the cost of sales equal 64,000 pounds. 64,000 pounds. So here we go. Working one done. Excellent. Great. Good job. Now let's jump to working two, which you need to include all the distribution and admin expenses in the question. So this is why you need to do this table. So these are the figures come from the trial balance in the question, from the question. So other, just leave it. We will fill it later, not this week, the week next week. Just leave it. So trial balance here. So you need to list all the expenses in the question. And if you look, when we did analyze it, we include all the expenses in the question, including, if you remember, we did include the water, wages, rent, heat and light, depreciation. Yeah, 5 expenses are available in the question here. So if you add them up all together, so that's 104,000 pounds. 104,000 pounds. 104,000 pounds. Okay, this is the total expenses. Total expenses. Okay, so here we go. Then we have the cost of sales. We have the total expenses. Excellent, great, good job, well done. In this case, what we need to do here, we need to go to the statement and do the statements. Here we go, look. Don't forget to write the title here, as you see, because this is the 1 mark on the exam. If you miss it, you miss it. The name of the company, Boots Limited, and the name of the statement and the year. Remember this, okay? Then, as you see, I did it here in 1 column. If you see here, yeah, I did it in 1 column here, as you see. But again, it's up to you. You can include 2 columns and just make it more organized or tidy. It's up to you, really. But anyway, again, we start with sales revenue minus cost of sales equal gross profit. So sales revenue is in the question. I'll show you then. Here we go. Where is the sales revenue? Here we go. So credit sales plus the cash sales, if you remember, the 215,000 pound. So this is here. Great. Minus cost of sales, the one you've done it in working one. If you go back to working one, you will see it again. Make sure that workings are clear and tidy, because they are marked. They have at least half of the mark, at least. Okay, I'm talking about the final exam. Right, sales minus cost of sales equal gross profit. So gross profit, before expenses. So now what you need to minus now, you need to minus all the expenses, the distribution and admin expenses, which you include in working two. You just done it in working two. If you go back, you will see working two, and the total expenses here, 104,000. Here we go. Yeah. So this minus this. So again, just make it easier for you. Put it in brackets, because you know it's a minus. So gross profit minus expenses equal what? Operating profit. Equal what? Operating profit. So what's left? Okay, what's left? The interest payable, interest receivable. We said we need to add on the top of operating profit any other income available in the question. And if you look at the question, you will see that we have interest receivables. Yeah, interest receivables. Here we go. Where's the question? Here we go. That's other income. You add in the top of operating profit and you deduct the interest payable or the tax payable is available. And here we go. This is the interest payable, which the business pays because they take a loan. So they pay interest on it, isn't it? So that's here. Interest payable minus bracket. So this plus this minus this equal 42,000, which is the net profit, the net profit or profit for the year. Okay, this is statement profit or loss. I hope it's clear, it's straightforward. Yeah, again, practice. This is the way you will get it right. Here we go. Now let's move to question number 4. Right, okay. Right, let's move to question number 4. Question number 4, this is trial balance relates to H&M as 31st of July 2020. This is the end of financial year. What does that mean? This means the financial year starts from 1st of August 2019. 1st of August 2019. Okay. Right, you start with the plant and machinery. Again, guys, let's analyze it. Plant and machinery, think about it. When you prepare a statement of financial position, so again, if you remember, we did say the accounting equation. This is statement based on the accounting equation, which is assets minus liabilities equal equity. Plant and machinery is what? Is an asset, is a fixed asset, is a non-current asset. You write beside it non-current assets, a plant and machinery. Trade payable is a liability, is a current liability, so write beside it current liability. Cash in hand is an asset, is a current asset, so write beside it current asset. Inventory, it's a closing inventory here. It doesn't mention at the beginning of the year, so it's a closing inventory. It's a current asset. Okay. Buildings, non-current assets. Bank loan, it's a non-current liability. It's a long-term loan. Trade receivables, debtors, it's a current asset, right beside it, please. Ownership interest, which is the capital at the opening of the year, which is 1st of August 2019. This is the opening financial year for this business, and this is under equity. Okay. Bank overdraft, if you remember that when the balance is minus, this is current liabilities, obligation of the business. Motor vehicle is a fixed assets or non-current assets. Motor vehicle. Fixtures and fittings, again, is a non-current assets, Profit for the year ended 31st of July 2020, right? The question does give you the profit here, which end of this year 42,000, and the last one there is a drawings for end of this year, and this is 5,000. And again, for the profit for the year and the drawings, the last two items, we should include it under the equity section of the statement of financial position. So now we did analyze the trial balance, which really makes your life easier. Right? So what you need to do, you need to start preparing the statement. Before you prepare the statement, As you see, we've got here a lot of non-current assets. So we can do one working for it and label it as a plant PPE. Where is it? Here we go. Which is a plant, property, plant, and equipment. Okay. So let's start with working one. Let me show you this, what I mean. Yeah. Here we go. Look at this table. Ooh, right, here we go. But anyway, this table, as you see, it's almost empty. So these items here, can you see these items? It's fine. We will fill them in the next 2 weeks. So just leave them at the moment. But at the moment, what you need to know, you need to do workings, and you need to call it as non-current assets, including depreciation, and you need to list all the non-current assets, including buildings, motor vehicles, plant and machinery, and fixtures and fittings. So when we start with the buildings, so we need to type the cost for each. And again, these from the questions, all of these from the question, from the trial balance straight away. You just copy paste all these costs, and the net book value, it's the same again, because here nothing, we have nothing here, so don't worry about, but you need just to practice on this. And again, if you add them together, that's £277,000. What does that mean? This means the business has non-current assets of £277,000. So if you go back to the statement, this is the thing you start here, isn't it? Look, £277,000. We call it non-current assets, and we label it under property, plant, and equipment, PPE. Yeah. So then you start with current assets. We have in the question, if you look, we have the closing inventory, 14,000. Now you will ask me, it's not written as a closing inventory, nothing written on it, so you classify it as a closing inventory, because look here. If I showed you inventory, opening inventory, here we go, but it's clear it's a closing inventory. Yeah. We have also trade receivables in the question, easy. We have cash in hand in the question, easy. So what you need to do, if you add them together here, look, is £38,000. £38,000. So total assets, which is the total non-current assets plus total current assets, equal total assets of £315,000. Now let's jump to the liability. Liability, we start with current liability. In the question, if you remember, we have a trade payable, the creditor 1, and we also have the bank overdraft. And the trade payable is 32, and the bank overdraft is 4,000. It's in the question again. Let's go back if you want to see it. Okay. £36,000 is the current liability, total current liabilities. Okay. The net current assets, if you remember, the formula is total current assets minus total current liabilities. The total current assets, 38,000 minus 36,000, total current liabilities equal the net current assets of £2,000, Okay, great. Non-current liabilities, if you see the question, okay, we have the non-current liability, the bank loan, look, £30,000, the bank loan, and it's considered to be long-term unless the question told you it's a short-term bank loan. Here we go, bank loan 30,000 under non-current liabilities. In this case, total liabilities will be the total non-current liabilities, which is the £36,000 plus the £30,000. Can you see? This is total liabilities. So So that's equal 66,000 pounds. 66,000 pounds. So net assets equal total assets minus total liabilities minus total liabilities. So 315,000 minus 66,000 equal 249,000 pounds. 249,000 pounds. So the total net assets. So this is the first part of the statement. Now let's move to the second part, is the equity. When it comes to the equity, we start with opening capital, which is the 212. Here we go. You add up the profit for the year and you deduct the drawings. Easy. Here we go. Look. 212 plus 42, the profit for the year, and you minus the drawings. Look, the 5,000. So net assets, that means that our solution is right, isn't it? So net assets equal total equity, isn't it? 249. What does that mean? This means the equation is what? Is balanced. The account equation is balanced. Okay, guys. So here we go. So this is the answers of the questions. I hope that you are a bit confident now with how to prepare two statements. The most important thing, you need to know each item, where you're gonna record it, in which statement, and again, the only way it comes with it, to practice. This is the way to get it right. Practice. Thank you very much, guys, and have a lovely day. I'll see you next week. God bless. Thank you. Bye-bye.